But the bank of the river is already North Korea.
Yes, yes. Very close, yes?
Yes. We've been driving for an hour, and we're nearing the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. That's been no man's land for about 70 years now. There's a fence with towers along the road, but each year, more and more tourists visit the DMZ. Tourists from the south, of course. The territory next to the DMZ, right next to the North Korea, is now one big shopping mall. Small restaurants, cafes, a mall right there. So nice. Another one here. Some donuts here and right there. It's North Korea. Some amusement rides there, so you can come and just ride a carousel. This is the root difference between capitalism and socialism. Under capitalism, anything, even military conflict, becomes a shopping mall. In a way, it's great. I went to visit the border with my Korean friend Jae Go-hen. He served in special forces and was ready to enter the northern neighbor.
If a war begins, I must go into Korea on the planes. And then parachute.
You laugh when you say it. It's not funny, you know?
Right.
On the South Korea side, it does look toyish, even with plastic tanks and guns sold right here in the souvenir shop. The northern neighbor may look scary, but for the South Koreans, it is just something to watch on the weekend. Here, on the southern side, they have these huge digital binoculars with augmented features. I'm not sure if you can see it on video. They tell you what's going on the other side. There is Kaesong. I don't know if you can actually see. It does feel a bit weird, like people are visiting a zoo. As far as I know, on the other side, it's the same. Maybe their equipment is not that great, but they are watching us, and South is watching North. It's like a zoo on both sides. There, an officer there. We're looking at him, and he is looking at us.
We can see but we can't meet each other.
It's sad.
Actually, both Koreas have often been close to being united. In 1983, Korean Kim Il-sung offered to become closer. At the time, the countries were not so different, both politically and economically. The degree of democracy was questionable on both sides, with Kim Il-sung's dictatorship in Pyongyang and Chun Doo-hwan's dictatorship in Seoul. He took the power by force. South Korea was already experiencing economic boom, but the North still had better industry. Here is an example. North Korea was helping South a lot after the floodings of 1984. Today, it's hard to believe. It wasn't only rice, but also medicines and construction materials. But all friendliness ended after a terrorist attack. In 1983, an explosion in Burma's capital was supposed to kill the president of South Korea, who visited the country. Chun Doo-hwan, whom Kim Jong-il wanted to negotiate with. The terrorist missed his target. The orchestrator of the whole thing was arrested. We have only one picture of Kan Min-chu, admittedly North Korean officer, which the country denied. In 1987, there was another explosion, Air Flight 858 of the Korean Airlines, the most terrible terrorist attack in Korean history. The authorities declared a North Korean spy woman guilty in this case. But listen to it. She was arrested, and soon after trial and a verdict, the worst terrorist in Korean history was pardoned in South Korea. She gave a few interviews telling how awful the North Korea is, how she was programmed almost to be a robot. Then she got married to, listen carefully, an agent of South Korea Special Forces, and she's been living in South Korea ever since.
She was sentenced to death for the bombing, but pardoned by South Korea. She lives in hiding today, fearing Kim will kill her. A traitor in his eyes, who completed her mission but turned on the regime.
It is a weird story, but it was after that the USA labeled North Korea a sponsor of terrorism. Strict sanctions followed, and North Korea turned into what it is now. These tunnels are one of the mysteries of the DMZ. This is the tunnel that goes from the north to the South Korea. 4 such tunnels are known, but South Korean authorities say there can be dozens of them to send the spies in. In 1974, North Korean spies tried to kill in Seoul the dictator president Park Chung-hee, but shot his wife. In the 80s and later, North Korean leadership hoped to take Seoul by crawling into it underground. 10,000 soldiers can pass through this tunnel in an hour, carrying some light weapons. But now, in the 21st century, South Korea seems to ignore that threat. Part of the DMZ is now a regular work park, a place to relax, where you could forget that it is the border between 2 enemy states. If not for such amusing signs. See? No bombing. Don't bomb. Behind the fence, there are a lot of signs saying landmines. But in here, it's a bicycle lane. Some nice spaces. People come with families. Moms with strollers. You can come here to rest. You can get a fancy coffee, flat white or latte. My head explodes. Here is a great bicycle lane, and there's the fence and landmines. Signs 10 meters from here. Are you afraid of North Korea?
A bit, because people have kind hearts. People are good there, but the mind is different. The situation is very different there. They're all being told bad things about our country. And we here are being taught that North Korea is bad. But I don't think that people are bad there. Their leadership, Kim Jong-un, he is bad. Everybody here dislikes him. What do regular people in the North think? Of that, I have no idea.
Guys, look at that. The bench is made out of zinc Patron boxes. Maybe it's a good way to use the memory of a war.
Uh-huh.